Temporary protected status, or TPS, is a as its name would suggest, is a temporary status that the United States grants blanketly to nationals of certain countries, to when there's a recognition that individuals from those countries cannot or should not be made to go home. The last time that we saw TPS used was after the Haitian earthquake, for example, when the U.S. government accepted or agreed that we could not be asking Haitian nationals who were in the United States to go home to Haiti at that time. So last week, in a bit of a surprise announcement, the president, the Department of Homeland Security, announced that they had designated Sierra Leone, Guinea, and Liberia, the three countries that are really in the midst of this Ebola crisis, as TPS countries. And what that means is that individual citizens of those countries, who are currently in the United States and who are in the United States on the date of the announcement, November 20th, will be able to apply for temporary protected status, which will allow them to remain in the United States for 18 months and to obtain a work permit during that time. Now, at the end of the 18 months, the designation may be renewed, at which point they'll be able to reapply for another 18-month period, or the U.S. government may decide that the crisis is over, that it is now safe for nationals of those countries to return, and they won't renew it, and then individuals will either have to leave the United States or find another way to remain in status in the United States. Traditionally, no, it's not risky. It really is a humanitarian relief that is being afforded because we understand that, or rather the U.S. government understands that it would be unconscionable to ask people to travel back to these countries when the countries are so devastated. Sierra Leone has actually received TPS, has been designated for TPS before during their war in the late 90s, early 2000s. And in terms of whether or not it's risky to make yourself known to the government, generally no. I mean, there are privacy restrictions around TPS, and it's a good way for folks who can't return home to stay here and be able to work and be able to support themselves. Unfortunately, it's not a permanent status. Even certain countries, for example, Honduras has had, Honduras or El Salvador have had TPS for decades, have been designated as countries that have TPS since the late 80s. And it's just something that gets renewed every 18 months, but it doesn't lead to a green card. It doesn't lead to any kind of permanent relief, at least currently. It's a pretty simple process. It's one form, the I-821, I'm sorry, two forms, the I-821, and the work permit application, which is the I-765, which must be filed together, which are both available for free on the USCIS website, uscis.gov, www.uscis.gov. Never believe somebody who tells you that they can sell you any sort of form. They can maybe sell you the service to fill out the form, but the forms themselves are available for free, and you just fill out these two forms. You'll have to prove that you were in the United States on November 20th of this year. You'll have to prove that you are a citizen of one of these three countries, Sierra Leone, Liberia, or Guinea, and you have to show that you don't have a criminal background. So if you have any kind of arrests in your history, you definitely want to be consulting with a lawyer to make sure that those arrests aren't going to cause a problem for you. But other than that, and of course, you'll be fingerprinted, so immigration will know about any arrests that you have in your past, and if you were arrested for anything, even if it was dismissed, you'll have to provide documentation in regards to that. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward application. You'll have to give, like I said, a copy of your passport or birth certificate or some sort of proof of your nationality, some proof of your identity, and then some proof that you lived here last week, which shouldn't be too tough. The registration period is open now, and will be open for 6 months until May. And the tricky part of TPS is that you must register during the registration period, which, like I said, is open from now until May. And if you miss the registration period, not only will you not be able to register during this current period, but you won't be able to re-register if and when the temporary protected status period is reauthorized 18 months from now. So it's very, very important that you, if you're eligible or if you think you're eligible, that you go and you talk to someone and find out and register before May, because TPS laws are very strict and very clear. And if you miss that time, if you miss that window, unless you currently have a green card or you're in some sort of valid status that expires, you won't be able to register late. There'll be some sort of group assistance events that'll be put up, so definitely call the New York State New Americans hotline. They can let you know. They can give you free referrals to lawyers. The lawyers may not be free, but the referral will be free, and you'll know that there's that person is legitimate. If you can afford a lawyer, you can go to ailalawyer.com. That's the American Immigration Lawyers Association. And otherwise, definitely keep checking your local media. You can call us here at the New York Immigration Coalition to find out about any sort of clinics or group assistance events that are happening. Of course, this happened at the same time as the president's announcement of administrative relief, which actually those applications won't start being accepted until May. So when TPS ends, administrative relief applications will start being accepted. But there's a good chance that all of the legal services that are happening around that will also be able to assist TPS. TPS applicants. I unfortunately can't give you more details right now because we're still working it all out, but I can tell you that the New York Immigration Coalition holds almost monthly events at in public schools. The next one is going to be in the South Bronx on the first weekend of December, and on that Sunday we have a legal clinic, and you can always come in and meet with a free lawyer there. So given that it's in the South Bronx, that may be a good place to start. And if not, you can call, like I said, the American Immigration Lawyers Association if you can afford a lawyer, or if you want a free legal referral to a low cost or free lawyer, you can call the New York State New American Hotline. If somebody's telling you they're a lawyer, then you can go to the New York courts and confirm that they really are a lawyer. But usually scammers will ask you for a payment up front. They'll probably ask you to pay in cash. They're not going to want a check or a credit card, or even a money order. If anybody is making any kind of promises, I can get you at the front of the line. This doesn't exist, but it will soon, and I can get you there first. I have connections. Never believe anybody who tells you that they have connections that can, make your case go more easily. If they're telling you that you're going to get a green card out of TPS, if they're telling you that you're going to get anything other than a work permit and protection from deportation for 18 months, they're lying. A TPS does not lead to a green card. And trust your instincts, of course. If something doesn't seem right, if they don't want to sign a contract, if they say they have a contract, but they don't want to let you read it, or they won't translate it into a language that you understand, definitely that is a cause of concern. Make sure, like I said, if you have any doubts, call the New American hotline, the New York State New American hotline. You can also file a complaint against anyone with the New York State New American hotline. That is not a government agency. It's run by Catholic Charities, and they will take your complaint and forward it on to the appropriate authorities. But if you have any questions or concerns, they can also answer those concerns. But never give any money to anybody who won't give you a receipt. Never give any money to anybody who won't explain to you how and when and in what period of time you can get your money back. If you change your mind, always sign a contract, and never sign anything, including a contract or forms that have been prepared for you, until it's been translated in a language that you understand and you're confident that you understand the contents.